Two people work the same 10 hours. One stays broke. One gets richer. I'm going to show you what money actually follows. And it isn't effort. If all you do is chase harder and work longer, you'll spend your life exhausted and still waiting for leftovers. So watch closely. One man sells his time. The other owns the pipe the money moves through. Same sweat, different winner. Picture a warehouse at 217A. Fluorescent lights buzzing, cold concrete floors. Two men lifting the same heavy boxes onto the same pallet. Same back pain, same sweat, same 10-hour shift. One goes home and sleeps immediately because his body is destroyed. The other goes home and can't sleep at all. His mind keeps circling one question. If hard work is the answer, why do I feel more trapped every year? That question isn't motivation. It's intelligence. Because the system was never designed to reward the person who suffers the most. It rewards the person who controls where value must pass. So hold this loop open in your mind. If effort doesn't create wealth, what does money actually follow? Most people believe the rich are richer because they're smarter, luckier, or worked harder. That story is sold deliberately because it keeps people obedient. The truth is quieter and colder. Money follows whoever controls the toll booth. Let me make it concrete. A man in Nairobi starts a trucking business with one truck. He drives it himself, loads it himself, negotiates every job himself. For the first year, he feels proud. He's finally his own boss. Then the truck breaks down. 2 weeks of work disappear. Clients don't wait. They call someone else. He pays for repairs, fuel, tires, insurance, checkpoint bribes. Every cost is his. At the end of the month, after all that motion, his profit is thinner than the paper on the invoices. So he reaches the obvious conclusion: more effort, another truck, bigger grind. That sounds right, until you look at the man who never touches a steering wheel. Same city, same industry. This man owns no trucks. He owns relationships. He knows the procurement manager at a cement company. He knows when orders spike, which routes close, which drivers are desperate for work. He doesn't move cargo, he moves information. And because he controls the flow of jobs, he takes a small cut from every delivery that passes through him. He sits in a chair, his phone rings, money lands. The first man pushes the truck. The second controls the pipe the truck must enter to get paid. Same economy, same demand, different position. Now here's the head fake. Most people say, that broker is a parasite. Good. Hold that reaction, because the point isn't morality. The system doesn't care about virtue, it rewards position. Miss this and you misbuild your life. You spend your best years trying to become valuable, while someone else quietly owns the lane your value must drive through. So what does money follow? Ownership? Maybe. But ownership of what? You can own a truck and still be broke. You can own a shop and still be trapped. You can own a business and still feel like an employee wearing a different uniform. So go sharper. Money follows leverage. Leverage is any advantage that multiplies your effort without requiring your body to be present. And there are only a few kinds that matter. But before naming them, you need to feel the trap. Most people aren't poor because they don't work. They're poor because they work inside someone else's machine. A woman cuts hair in a small shop. Skilled hands, fast hands. 10 clients a day, fully booked. Everyone calls her successful. Here's her reality. She arrives early, cleans, sets up, smiles, performs, talks, sells, stays late, counts cash, goes home. Her income is locked inside her calendar. If she gets sick, money stops. If she travels, money stops. If she has a baby, money stops. She isn't running a business. She's renting her body to her own schedule. Here's the misdirection that keeps her stuck. She thinks the solution is more clients, more demand, better branding, more followers. Then a platform enters her world. An app launches. It promises exposure, full bookings, growth. So she signs up. At first, it feels like a win. Then the commission quietly rises, a little at a time, like a tax. The customers aren't hers. They belong to the platform. It can reroute them, promote someone else, hide her listing unless she pays, change the rules with one update. Here's the uncomfortable truth. She thought she was buying growth. She was handing over the pipe. The platform doesn't cut hair. It doesn't stand for 10 hours. It doesn't sweat. It owns the flow. So it takes a cut of every haircut that passes through it. Same sweat, different winner. When I say money follows leverage, don't hear motivation. See a toll booth, see a bottleneck, see a gate, see a pipe. Because leverage is control over a pathway other people must use. Once you see it everywhere. The landlord earns whether you had a good month or not. The distributor gets paid even if the brand goes viral. The franchise owner collects while employees argue with customers. The music publisher earns long after the singer's voice is gone. The person with the audience earns while the person with the skill waits. And if you're still clinging to effort, here's the brutal part. Effort is the cheapest ingredient in the economy because billions of people can supply it. That's why the market doesn't reward it. Markets reward what is rare, and what's rare is not hard work. What's rare is position, control, access, distribution, ownership of demand. So pin this question to the wall, because everything that follows orbits it. If money doesn't follow effort, what does it follow? In a moment, I'm going to show you the 3 forces that create the pipe in real life, whether you're broke, middle class, or quietly rich. One of them will make you angry because it proves you were trained to build someone else's empire. But first, you need one more story. Because if you think this only happens in business, you're still asleep. Watch what happens inside a normal job. A man works at a factory that produces bottled water, not premium water, cheap water, bulk water. He clocks in at 7 a.m. every day. Same grey uniform, same cap, same background noise slowly grinding down his hearing. His job is simple. He stands beside a conveyor belt checking seals. Loose cap, he pulls it. Crooked label, he pulls it. The belt never stops. His arms keep moving. His eyes keep scanning. He's good at it. And because he's good, he gets rewarded. Not with wealth, with more responsibility. He becomes the reliable one. When someone is late, he covers. When the supervisor needs an extra shift, they call him. When the machine jams, he stays. When the truck is delayed, he waits. He is the hardest worker in the building. Now pause here. If the world were fair, shouldn't he be the one getting rich? Watch what happens next. The company announces a new contract. A major retailer wants double production for the next 6 months. The floor celebrates. Overtime, more hours, more opportunity. He does the math in his head. If he takes every extra shift, maybe he pays off his debt. Maybe he fixes the roof. Maybe he finally breathes. And then, quietly, the real winner enters the room. Not the CEO, not the supervisor. A man you never see on the factory floor, the distributor, the one who controls the trucks, the routes, the retailer relationships, the ability to deliver on time. He never touches a bottle, but the retailer doesn't care how hard factory workers sweat. The retailer cares about one thing: reliable delivery. So the distributor sets the terms. He doesn't negotiate with effort, he negotiates with position. He takes a cut per unit moved, a small cut multiplied by millions of units. While the workers celebrate overtime, the distributor celebrates scale. This is the part most people refuse to accept. The people who touch the product do not own the flow, and money follows the flow. Here's the head fake. You hear this and think, so the answer is to become a distributor, to be a middleman. No, the answer is to own a bottleneck. Distribution is one kind of bottleneck, yes, but it's not the only one. And if you chase being a middleman without understanding the rule underneath, you'll just become another worker in a different costume. The rule is deeper. Money follows whoever has leverage over demand and delivery. Demand is who wants it. Delivery is how it reaches them. Effort is only who does the work. Effort is replaceable. Demand and delivery are not. Now tighten the loop. If money follows leverage, what creates leverage? There are 3 forces that create the pipe. Once you see them, you can map almost any rich person to one in under 10 seconds. Force 1, access to demand. Force 2, control of distribution. Force 3, Ownership of the rules. Most people spend their entire lives improving effort and never touch these forces. That's why they stay trapped. Let me show you force 1 in a way you won't forget. A woman sells traditional clothing in a local market. She works hard, arrives early, stands all day, negotiates, smiles, deals with thieves, slow days, rain, stress. She sells enough to survive. Across town, another woman sells the exact same clothing, same suppliers, same product, same city. But she sells through a wedding planner. That's the only difference. She isn't better. She isn't more disciplined. She just attached herself to a pipeline of demand. Every time the wedding planner books a client, there's guaranteed demand for outfits, gifts, accessories. And because the wedding planner controls the client relationship, they control the recommendations. The second woman doesn't chase customers. Customers arrive pre-approved. One strategic connection replaced years of hustle. That is access to demand. Force 1. And if you're paying attention, something cold becomes obvious. The world isn't divided into hard workers and lazy rich people. It's divided into people who chase demand and people who are plugged into demand. If you chase demand, you are prey. If demand comes to you, you are protected. Now, force 2. Control of distribution. This is where quiet fortunes are built. A man imports electronics. Not big brands, simple products, phone cases, chargers, earphones, power banks. He doesn't sell to customers, he sells to small shops. He isn't rich because the products are special. He's rich because he owns the route. He knows which shops pay on time, which neighborhoods sell faster, which items move and which die on shelves. He knows customs, trucking, storage, timing. That knowledge becomes a network, and the network becomes a pipe. From the outside, it looks like hustle, it looks like work. But watch what happens over time. His effort stays the same, the pipe expands. His leverage increases. Eventually, he works less and earns more because the pipe is doing the work. While the shop owner is trapped behind a counter all day, the distributor's network moves money while he sleeps. That is force 2. Now, force 3 is the one that makes people uncomfortable. Ownership of the rules. This is when you're not just inside the system, you influence how the system operates. If you miss this, you misbuild your life, because you keep trying to win a game whose rules you don't control. Here's a simple example. A man opens a small food stall. He sells something popular: grilled meat, fresh bread, tea. People love it. The place is busy. Then the city changes the licensing rules. Suddenly there are new permits, new inspections, new fees, new paperwork, new approvals, new bribes. His profit collapses. Somewhere else, another man with the same stall doesn't panic. He has a cousin in the licensing office, or relationships with inspectors, or he's part of an association that influences the rules. He doesn't work harder to survive. He navigates power. He isn't operating inside the rule book. He's operating around it. This is Machiavellian, not because it's evil, but because it's real. Power is always present. The poor pretend it isn't. The rich build systems around it. So the picture should be clear now. Money doesn't follow effort. Money follows leverage created by 1. Access to demand, 2. Control of distribution, 3. Ownership of the rules. Here's the dangerous part. Most people spend 10 years becoming very good at a skill, then hand that skill to someone who already owns demand and distribution. They become a high-quality employee, a polished cog, and they wonder why they still feel small. Now I'm going to do something that will either free you or offend you. I'm going to show you the effort traps that feel productive but keep you broke. And if you're honest, you'll recognize yourself in at least 2. Because these traps are designed to keep you busy. Busy people don't rebel. Busy people don't build pipes. Busy people don't ask dangerous questions. They just work. Trap 1. Getting better at something nobody controls demand for. You can become world-class at a skill and still be poor if you don't control where customers come from. That's why brilliant designers beg for clients. That's why talented editors work for pennies. That's why skilled people rot in freelance hell. They improved effort, not leverage. Trap 2. Confusing motion with position. If you were running all day, responding to messages, doing deliveries, solving problems, but you don't own demand or distribution, you aren't building wealth. you're building fatigue. Trap 3. Believing loyalty will be rewarded in a system built on replacement. Companies do not love you. Markets do not care about your sacrifice. If you're only paid when you show up, you are a cost, and costs get minimized. Now here's the question that matters. How do you build a pipe if you don't have money, connections, or a big platform? Because if the answer is be born rich, you'll shut this off. Here's the non-obvious answer. You build a small pipe inside a big pipe. You don't fight the system. You hijack flow, and in the next segment, I'll give you a 4-step model you can start this week, not theory, to move from effort to leverage. But first, you need to see the most overlooked pipe in the modern world. It isn't real estate, it isn't factories, it's attention. Attention is the cleanest pipe ever invented because it converts human focus into currency. And it's the only pipe that can be built with almost no capital. That's why it feels unfair. Effort is visible. Attention is invisible. A man can work 12 hours and stay poor. A teenager can post one clip and have demand chasing him for 5 years. That doesn't mean the teenager is better. It means he got plugged into a pipe. Here's a story that makes this painfully clear. 2 people sell the same thing, fitness coaching. One works in a small gym. He wakes up early, trains clients back to back, corrects form, writes meal plans, answers questions at night. He's exhausted but proud because he helps people. The other guy doesn't even have a gym. He has a phone. Every day he uploads a 20-second clip. One posture mistake, one deadlift cue, one nutrition myth, one do this instead. He doesn't sound excited. He sounds certain. Within months, something strange happens. People trust him before they ever meet him. The first trainer still works 10 hours a day. The second sells grams while sitting in a chair. Same skill, different pipe. Now here's the uncomfortable part. Most people hear this and try to copy the second guy. They post, they grind, they get no views, they quit. Then they go back to worshipping effort like a religion. They don't realize this. Attention is not created by trying harder. Attention is created by controlling relevance. Your content doesn't win because you worked hard on it. It wins because it hits a nerve, fear, desire, confusion, ego. That's why this is Machiavellian. Once you understand attention, you stop begging for approval. You start aiming for predictable human reactions. So here's the loop you need to answer for yourself. If attention is a pipe, why do some people get it easily while you fight for scraps? You'll think the answer is luck, algorithms, or talent. Not exactly. The answer is positioning. Positioning is the story your audience believes about you before you speak. And the fastest way to build it is simple. Consistently solve one painful problem for one type of person. That's what makes attention stick. Now here's the head fake. Platforms make you think you're building your own pipe, but in many cases you're just building a room inside someone else's building, and the landlord can change the rent at any time. A developer spends 2 years building a simple app. It isn't revolutionary. It only solves one annoying problem for small businesses. He finally launches it in an app marketplace. For weeks, nothing happens. Then one day, a larger influencer mentions it. Downloads spike, reviews appear, revenue starts coming in. He thinks he made it. Then he looks closer. The marketplace is taking a cut from every sale, not once, every time, forever. He did the work. The platform controls the pipe. Here's the twist. He isn't trapped because the platform takes a cut. He's trapped because the platform owns demand and distribution. If the marketplace buries his app tomorrow, he's finished. If they promote a competitor, he's finished. If they change policy, he's finished. His business isn't independent. It's a tenant inside someone else's system. So what does a dangerous person do? He doesn't just build a product, he builds direct access to demand. He builds an email list. He builds a community. He builds partnerships. He builds a name people search for. Because the moment demand becomes independent, leverage appears. This is why audience is wealth. Not followers, not likes. Owned attention. Attention you can reach without asking permission. Miss this and you misbuild your life. You'll think you're building something big while quietly constructing a well-designed cage. Now, let me give you a quiet operator example. Because the biggest pipes aren't loud. They don't trend. They don't go viral. They don't look exciting. They print money. A small construction company lands contracts. The problem is payment timing. Clients pay late, 90 days, sometimes more. Meanwhile, wages are due weekly. Materials are needed now. Machines must keep running. The owner isn't stressed because he lacks effort. He's stressed because cash flow is trapped. Then he meets a financing operator. This man doesn't build anything. He doesn't pour concrete. He doesn't carry bricks. He buys invoices. He pays a construction company up front, minus a fee. Then he collects the full amount from the client later. From the outside, it looks boring. From the inside, it's control of timing. And timing is a pipe. Because whoever controls when money moves controls who survives. That financing operator isn't working harder. He owns a bottleneck, access to fast cash. And once he owns it, everyone comes to him under pressure. Pressure creates obedience. That isn't inspirational. It's mechanical. So let's close the loop. Money follows leverage. Leverage comes from owning. Pipes are built from demand, distribution, and rules. And attention is the modern pipe anyone can build if they stop thinking like a worker. Now I'm going to give you the model, not an outline, not motivation. A cold 4-step process that turns effort into leverage. You can start this week, even if you're broke. Step 1. Stop asking, what can I do? Ask instead, where is demand already flowing? You don't create demand from nothing, not at first. You attach yourself to a river. Look for problems people already pay to solve. Not interesting problems, painful ones. Problems people complain about at night. Problems that cost money, status, or peace. That's where demand lives. Step 2. Pick the smallest door into that demand. Most people try to build a mansion. They need to build a key. One simple offer, one clear hook, one specific result. Not I do everything. One thing. Clarity makes you memorable. Step 3. Build a repeatable asset that pulls demand toward you. This is where attention becomes leverage. An asset works after you stop. A piece of content that keeps getting views, a guide that keeps getting shared, a referral loop, a tool, a template, a system. If you must show up every time to earn, you're still selling time. You just renamed the job. Step 4. Turn that asset into a pipe you control. This is the step most people avoid because it feels boring. They want creation, not ownership. Ownership means collecting the audience somewhere you control. It means direct relationships. It means not letting platforms own your customers. Because the moment you can reach demand directly, leverage becomes real. Here's how you test whether you're building leverage or just working more. Ask yourself 3 questions. If I stop for 2 weeks, does money still come in? If I repeat today's actions, does tomorrow get easier or stay the same? Am I gaining control over demand or still chasing it? If the answers are no, identical, and chasing, your effort is feeding someone else's pipe. Now the next story shows the most brutal version of S. How smart, hard-working people become rich for someone else every day inside the cleanest-looking industries, because the nicest cages are the ones that look like opportunity. A young software engineer joins a fast-growing startup. Good salary, smart team, nice office, free coffee, the kind of job that calms your family because it looks safe. He works hard, ships features, stays late, fixes bugs nobody sees. He becomes the one trusted with the most critical systems. One day, the CEO calls him in. We're launching a new pricing tier. If this works, everything changes. So he goes into war mode. He builds onboarding, optimizes checkout, improves speed, tests relentlessly. He sweats, but digitally. He gives the company months of his mind. The launch works. Revenue jumps. The CEO smiles. Investors applaud. A growth chart gets posted online. Everyone celebrates. The engineer feels proud for about 10 minutes. Then he notices something cold. His pay didn't change. His life didn't change. The company's power changed, the company's valuation changed, and that is where the real pipe was. The people who own the equity just got richer. He got a great job. Here's the uncomfortable truth. He thought he was building his future. He was building someone else's pipe, because the pipe was never the code. The pipe was the distribution, the brand, the customer base, the partnerships, the pricing power, the ability to charge. The code was effort, effort inside a machine. Now, I'm not saying jobs are bad. Don't be shallow. A job can be a weapon if you use it correctly. Most people don't. Most people use jobs the way a hamster uses a wheel. When pressure increases, they run harder and call it progress. Miss this, and you misbuild your life. You think you're leveling up when you're actually becoming a more efficient resource inside someone else's system. Now here's the twist that makes this useful. That engineer can escape the trap without quitting, without gambling, without fantasy. He just has to stop thinking like a worker and start thinking Ike, a pipe builder. The difference is one question. A worker asks, what task do I do next? A pipe builder asks, what can I build once that keeps paying me? So imagine the engineer aims the same skills differently. Instead of building features for a product he doesn't own, he builds a small tool that solves one annoying problem in his industry. Something specific, something painful, something people already complain about. He puts it in front of the same demand he used to serve indirectly. One clear explanation, one clear demo, one clear promise. Then he attaches it to owned attention, a list, a community, partnerships, anything that doesn't disappear when an algorithm changes. Now his effort isn't trapped inside a calendar. The tool works while he sleeps. That's leverage. That's a pipe. Notice what changed. Not his intelligence, not his work ethic, his position. Now let's go colder, because Machiavelli's real lesson isn't be evil. It's see reality without flinching. And reality looks like this. There are two types of people in the world. People who ask permission and people who collect permission from others. Effort is what you use when you have no permission. Leverage is what you get when other people's actions require yours. That's why ownership is powerful. Ownership is permission. The right to say yes or no. And money follows the right to say no. Because the moment you can say no, you have bargaining power. The moment you can't, you are cheap. You can be the hardest worker in the room and still be cheap if you're replaceable. That's the part nobody wants to hear. Now here's the final misdirection. People think the rich are rich because they work less. No. They're rich because their work is upstream. They place one lever and thousands of people push it for them. They design the rules and everyone else plays inside them. They own the road and everyone else drives on it. They own the audience and everyone else rents attention. They own the contract and everyone else signs it. They own the relationship and everyone else begs for referrals. Once you see this, you can't unsee it. That's the real revelation. Not that the world is unfair, that the world is structured, and structures can be entered. The gate isn't work harder. The gate is moving effort into assets that control flow. Now I'm going to give you one challenge. Not 10, one. Because most people lose their lives to complexity. They consume ideas like entertainment, then return to the same patterns. You're not doing that. Here's your action. In the next 7 days, pick one pipe you can realistically start building with your current life. Not the perfect pipe, the smallest pipe. A pipe is anything that sends you opportunity without chasing. A relationship pipe, one person who consistently sends you leads because you solve one problem cleanly. A distribution pipe, a simple channel where your ideas or offers reach the same type of person again and again. A rules pipe, a position in a group, association or niche where you influence what gets chosen. Choose one. Then build one asset that makes demand easier to reach. One guide, one template, one offer, one case study, one mini tool, one piece of content. It should answer one painful question so clearly that people feel stupid for not seeing it earlier. When someone responds, don't just take the money and disappear. Capture the connection. That's the difference between earning and building. Earning is a transaction. Building is stacking access to demand. If you do this for 1 week, you'll feel it immediately. Not in your bank account yet, in your psychology. You'll stop feeling like you're running. You will feel like you're placing pieces on a board. That's how you know you crossed the line. Because once you start building pipes, effort becomes optional, not because you're lazy, because you're no longer trapped. Here's the final frame. The poor are trained to be proud of suffering. The powerful are trained to be proud of control. So every time you catch yourself bragging about how hard you worked, pause and ask one cold question. Did this effort buy me control or just exhaustion? If it bought you control, do it again. If it bought you exhaustion, you just fed someone else's machine. Now you know why two people can work the same 10 hours and end in two different futures. One improves effort, one builds a pipe. Same sweat, different winner. If you want the next lesson, the one that shows you how to build leverage even with no audience, no money, and no connections, subscribe. Not because it helps me, because it keeps you in the room where the real rules are spoken out loud.